Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. But today, well, we've got nightmare fuel for you on this one. So we've got to talk about Google and their artificial intelligence because quite frankly, this is absolutely terrifying, especially to a privacy wonk like me. Now, here's what's going on, and Emma Roth of The Verge had what I think is it's a good write-up, but it's a scary write-up of where this is going because Google is way ahead of ChatGPT, Anthropic, and all of the others, and it's because of you and I. Now, here's what's basically going on. Google's AI models have essentially, as I mentioned, a secret ingredient that essentially is giving them a leg up on everybody else. This ingredient is your data. It's my data, it's your data, and they're only just scratching the surface right now and how they're going to be able to personalize their AI known as Gemini when it comes to interacting with you and I. Now, they first started letting us, the users, opt into Gemini with personalization features earlier this year, which lets this AI model essentially get into your search history to, quote, provide responses that are uniquely insightful and directly address your needs. But now Google is taking this basically one step further and turning it up to 11 because they're unlocking access to even more of your information. This is all in the name of basically giving you a Google response that is bespoke and more personalized. So during their Google I/O conference this past Tuesday, Google introduced something called personal context. Now, this is going to allow their AI model, Gemini, to pull relevant information from across Google apps, the apps you're using, providing they've basically been opted in and you've given them their permission, but we'll see if they violate that as well. So one way Google is doing this is through Gmail's personalized smart replies. These are the AI generated messages that you can use to quickly reply to emails. I never use them. I also have a Gmail account that I've had forever, as most of us do, and I need it, due to Android and all that kind of stuff, but I never use that account other than to, like, let's say, order junk. So, it may know some of my subscriptions, but I never write anything in it. So, to make these AI responses sound quote unquote authentically like you, Gemini will now basically go through your previous emails and even your Google Drive files, meaning anything you've uploaded to Google, to essentially gather all this information just so it can craft tailored responses to your conversation. And the response will even incorporate your tone, greeting you with the most, basically, the words you use the most, your favorite word choices, according to Google. So as an example, Google says that if you're chatting with a friend about a road trip, Gemini can search through your emails, your files, your pictures, all this kind of stuff, allowing it to find hotel reservations and an itinerary and put it together for you. It can even suggest a response that incorporates that relevant information. In other words, your friend's like, oh, I'm thinking about, I don't know, backpacking through the Serengeti or whatever. And Google's like, oh, well, you've been there before. Here's all of your pictures, all of your files, all of your emails, all of your past reservations, absolutely everything you've done in Google's ecosystem. And then basically says, hey, why don't you tell your friend to go here, do this, stay here, etc., and I'll write the letter for you. That sounds super convenient and amazing, but understand just how deep that data mining is, and it's nonstop. And I'm going to talk about what I think can stem directly from this, and I think, quite frankly, it's terrifying. So these are the things. Google CEO Sundar Pichai basically said during the keynote, it may even help you be a better friend. Isn't that nice? Isn't that special? So Google said in March that it will eventually let users connect basically their YouTube history and photo library to Gemini as well. So even outside of Google Drive, your YouTube history. So if you're watching videos on underwater basket weaving, it knows. Oh, it knows. So the breadth of the data that Google has access to puts it way, and I mean way ahead of OpenAI or Claude by Anthropic. So think about it this way. Instead of having basically an idea of where somebody might like to shop, what your favorite foods are, et cetera, ChatGPT compared to Google would then have to field several responses before it could start basically referring to memories and old conversations, where Google doesn't have to take that time to do it. Their AI simply is just being fed that data. So it knows if you're emailing whomever and how you email and what you think. It's absolutely nuts. The same is true, for the record of all of the competitors, not just ChatGPT, but think Claude by Anthropic and all of the others. And so if this thing is given permission, Google's Gemini has way more access right out of the gate than any other artificial intelligence that's going to learn about you. Now, when I'm using like a ChatGPT, it's usually to look up like statutes, like, hey, like I need like what is the statute for GDPR or CMMC or one of these things, and it gives me basically this answer. So it's essentially knows I'm into compliance in some way, shape, or form, but I'm also verifying everything that it's doing. I'm not asking it personal questions. I don't want its idea of what the meaning of life is, right? So it's a huge thing, but it's I think absolutely insane. And so if you think about what Google's AI Gemini could build with your data, they could build psychological profiles. This is what Facebook got in trouble with Cambridge Analytica in the 2016 election. He went in front of Congress. They've got this to the nth degree because now they're looking at everything personal that you have done, not just interactions on social media, but emails that aren't public, everything else, photos you haven't published. Lord, God forbid, you're putting like nudes up there or something like that in Google. It's got it all. On top of it, this could be a surveillance state. Because it has a psychological profile on you, Google is essentially surveilling you and feeding it to an artificial intelligence. And they've been very friendly with governments, both nice and bad governments around the world. And so that's a huge thing. On top of it, its predictive capability is going to be through the roof. They're going to understand and predict where you will be in the future based on past travel, pics, and more. So for example, every third Thursday at 7 p.m., you happen to have a meeting somewhere, it's going to understand that because remember, your phone that's connected to Google Maps and all that has a GPS. It's probably getting this data and this telemetry. And so now it understands, it can tell law enforcement, well, on the third Thursday, Nick's at XYZ. This is what we're talking about. This is a huge thing. This is nightmare fuel. Like I said in the start, nightmare fuel for privacy. And so please opt out. I don't have instructions on this. If I can find instructions on how to opt out, I will put it in the show notes in basically YouTube and SoundCloud where you can go and see this. But man, this is, I think, where this is heading. And Google, for decades at this point, has been data mining the ever-living bejesus at us to sell us things, and now their artificial intelligence is turning it up to 11, and under the guise of being more helpful to us, well, actually, I think building profiles that law enforcement, authoritarian governments, and anyone and everyone in between can use. This ain't good. Please opt out. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. You will be data mined, and YouTube, which Google AI is soon to know you're watching me, as it knows I'm watching myself when I review these videos. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. I mean, is that even possible anymore? I hate to ask the question, but is it? Like, we're trying, man. You gotta help us out, though. And just stay safe online and secure. Take care.